social media posts?
See, as they say, all virtues come with vices. And social media is important, it's tremendous, it's impactful, it's otherwise, 462 crores as in 2022. I mean, 462 crore people do not use social media. It's a great virtue, but over a period of time, there are vices also which get attached to a powerful development plan. I really feel, the biggest, it helps to empower people. I mean, empowerment of people, the common man, on all his rights, and particularly on freedom of expression, freedom to speak, is unprecedented. I mean, the kind of empowering that social media has done is unprecedented. Of course, it does have there are a lot of other positives, but empowering is the biggest thing. While empowering, it also, as you rightly said, your freedom should not come at the expense of somebody else's freedom. And what happens is in social media, there are no rules. I mean, in the earlier traditional media, television, newspapers, radio, there were gatekeepers. There were gatekeepers to control access to the media.
Tell us about what the identity of writer means to you and why it's important, despite your busy schedule, to make time to attend literary festivals, of which you are everywhere, and continue to write these books. You've written 23, and I'm sure there'll be, 10 more in the next 10 years. So, what does this identity mean to you?
Actually, 10 more in the next 10 years looks increasingly unlikely with the pace of demands from the writing world and the columns I write, and the politics of being a Lok Sabha MP incredibly time-consuming. So I have to admit that I'm, for the first time, really way behind on a book commitment this year, and I suspect there'll be a knock-on effect in future. So don't count on 10 more, but even a couple more in a sort of distant horizon would be a dream I'd love to fulfill. But coming back to what does being a writer mean? I mean, I think I'm still the same human being who's been in politics, who's been in world affairs, who's been in public policy, who writes columns. As a human being, you have a number of reactions to the world you see around you. And I think the only difference that a writer has is that he or she feels an urge to express that reaction, not just in their work, not just in what they do, not just in their living room conversation.
It's 93.5 Red FM, but this is Cheyenne. I'm here with Manu S. Pillai. He's a historian, and at the age of 25, this guy received the Sahitya Academy Award. First of all, how is it being historian? That's not something, that's not one of the things that parents tell their kids, how you have to be a historian. I ask you that question because of jealousy. In my life, I wanted to go into history, but back then my parents thought science is the best option.
Well, the first thing is don't listen to your parents if you can. Most people don't have the option. I luckily had parents who were quite, loose about that kind of control.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and they never got in the way. I was lucky. But even if they had gotten in the way, I would perhaps have insisted on doing what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Secondly, history is just fascinating, right? Right. We have our textbooks which dull it down and dumb it down to a certain extent. But in reality, it has comedy, it has tragedy, it has violence, it has sarcasm, it has everything we see in our world today. The complexity, the humor, the tragedy, it exists in the past also. There were people who were doing parodies on caste, there were women writing erotica, there were kings up to violent activities. But all of that coexists, it's a fascinating place, and my attempt is just to get the stories out and people say that, oh, you make it lively. I'm not making it lively. The stories are lively. I'm just telling those stories to a larger audience.
For best entertainment, subscribe to Red FM Bengaluru page. For more updates, press the bell icon.